drops. P1E goes hard till it pops. Cannonball, don't trust a cop. Johnny Spotswood just don't know when to stop. Yeah, and if you don't like it, you better take your ass up to the snooty box, cause this is the loud spot. Okay, see you later.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loud Spot. I'm your host, Sebastian Cosme. Tonight we kind of have a different show. We're not going to play so much music. We have a couple bands, at least one band I do want to play. We got a very good friend of mine, Joe Angus, on the show tonight because we got to tell a funny story. But I do want to let everybody know that this may not be the most musical of podcasts tonight. But we do have coming up for October. Well, first of all, we have Kindly Shut Up next weekend. And then in October, if everything works out right, it looks like we're going to have Lords of Salem. We're going to have Grave Huffer, a band called Catapult out of Switzerland. Oh, and Lords of Salem is out of Germany. We have Ghost Town Rebellion. We have Redefined, which those guys are awesome. We have Nothing Short of Tragic. We're going to try to get Begotten on the show. And there's a few other bands we're going to try to get in the mix. So, anyways, what's up, Jeff?
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good. So I wanted you on the show tonight. We normally do our shows only on Sundays and Wednesdays, but I did want to do one tonight because we were on the phone the other day, and you got to start from the very beginning of this whole entire story. Let me set the environment. We have a friend that we've known since high school that is still friends with all of us. And
right.
We'll let Joe go ahead and take it from there, buddy.
So you always have that friend, right? You have one of those friends that just hangs out. He's a homie. He's like one of those good guys who got your back all the time. He's a great dude.
Yes.
And one of those lifers. You always be friends with that guy no matter what.
Sure.
And for us, I think of all the group of friends we had in high school and stuff like that. Like Dale was one of those guys, right?
Oh yeah, we all still hang out, yeah, for sure.
But the thing that was great about Dale, right, is that he was very stubborn, very particular, very like headstrong in his own way, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then he always would kind of do like these weird things, like his decision making sometimes wasn't like optimal in certain situations, right? And it was just a Dale thing. You just be like, well, you know what? That's Dale.
That's Dale.
So, anyways.
We used to throw, with me and Steve Stokes, there was a little bird that stood on top of the the Rayleigh supermarket, and we would throw rocks at it, and the bird wouldn't move, and so we called it the Dale bird, because I just didn't give a shit. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't give a shit, right? That was like Dale, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Dale never gave a shit. Okay, so he winds up calling you randomly. Now Dale lives in the Bay Area, okay, in California.
Yeah.
Dale lives in Seattle. He randomly calls you. Does he even let you know he's going to Seattle, or he just randomly calls you and is like, "Hey, I'm in Seattle. Come hang out."
Yeah, no. So I'm in Seattle, right? And I talked to him like maybe once. Last time I talked to him was like a couple years ago, and that was kind of a little off the charts too. Like, you know,
yeah.
He's one of those guys that when you get together with him, you just gotta kind of buckle up because you're just not sure what to expect.
Yeah, he applied for an interview. He applied for an interview one time. He was here in Oklahoma City with me, and they're like, he's like, "Do I have the job?" After the phone interview, they're like, "Well, we don't know." He goes, "Well, why the fuck don't you know?" like hire me. Like, I was like, "Damn, you can't. No one's gonna hire you with that kind of attitude, bro."
Yeah. I like that attitude. Why not, man?
Why not? I'm qualified.
Why not?
I went to school for physics. I'm good.
Okay, let's run it back right now. Let's run it back. 30 more minutes. I got some time. Yeah. So, anyways, he showed up here. So what happened was he just called me one night. I think it was like a Monday night or something, Tuesday night. I'm working from home, so like at the end of the night, I'm just kind of chilling. And I get this call from Dale. And Dale's like, "Hey, Joe, I just want to reach out to you, man. I'm just, want to see, like, what you're up to." And he said, it just so happens that I'm coming through Seattle, like, right now. And I was like, "Oh, cool." He's like, "Yeah, I was wondering maybe if, like, I could stop by and like, spend the night or some of that." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, sure." He's like, "Well, I mean, just right now because I have, like, my friend with me, right?" And so when he said he had his friend with me,
right.
I was like, "Oh, I better backpedal a little bit because I got to check with Scarlett. I got to make sure, like, everything's okay." So I was like, I don't know this friend. Do I know him? He's like, "No, you don't know him, but he's a really cool guy." And I was like, "I've seen Dale's friends. I know I can hang out with." So I was like, you know what, man? I said, how about this? Like, maybe check and see if you can get another, like, some other kind of accommodations, like, set, and then give me a call back if like, the last, like, chance. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have anything else, call me, we'll work something out. I'll give you some money for a hotel or something, right? So it turned out he was okay. He calls me back later. He's like, yeah, I don't want to intrude or anything like that. And I was like, it's okay, Dale. It's okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're not intruding, but you just can't probably stay here tonight. So I was like, why don't we do this? Why don't we hang out tomorrow night? And I'll meet you somewhere like in downtown in Seattle, and I'll take you guys out to lunch or something, or dinner. Yeah. So that's what we ended up doing, right? So the next day comes, and I'm working. I got a lot of stuff to do, and I'm just kind of butt plugging away. And then all of a sudden I get this like text message from Dale. Dale's like, "Hey man, we gonna hang out?" And I was like, "Sure, okay." And it's been a long time.
You gotta see him. If a friend from high school comes around, you gotta see him.
Especially a homie, right? You can't let homie down, right? You gotta go meet him, right?
That'd be like me calling you and you not showing up. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I thought we were friends.
Right, exactly. You know? So I'm sitting there. It's like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock when I get done with work, and I'm just like, I gotta go meet him, right? And the last couple times, like Dale's had some crazy stories. He had some guy try to kill him in Arizona. That was a friend he had. I've met some of his other friends. These guys are like, I don't know where he gets these guys.
He had a roommate in the Bay Area that tried to kill him because he actually did. I guess the roommate was like selling acid, and Dale didn't know what it was, so he like threw it away. And this guy was like, "You threw away my acid." And Dale's like, "I just threw away all this foil or whatever the fuck it was." And I'm like, so Dale had to like move out because the guy was going to kill him for like throwing away his
I was going to kill him.
I guess the guy was a dealer. Dale didn't know.
Dale doesn't. See, that's the thing. Dale doesn't know. He really doesn't know. He's a good guy. He just doesn't get it sometimes, right?
Right.
So
so you meet him at Applebee's.
Yeah. So it's okay. So he says, "Hey man," he's like, I said, "Where are you at?" And he says, "Joe, I'm at this place called Sidelines in Bellevue." And so, just for your information, right, Bellevue's actually a really nice area of Seattle, right? I was like, "Oh, you're in Bellevue. That's good. That's nice. Okay, cool. So you're in a good area of Bellevue. The Seattle, like, I'll meet you at Sidelines." And I told Charlotte, I was like, "Hey, Char, you want to go to Bellevue?" And she's like, "Sure, I love Bellevue, right?" I'm like, "Okay, great." And I said, I told Charlotte, I said, "Be careful." I said, "This guy, we're going to go meet. He's a good friend of mine, but you're coming. You're my safety, okay?" Because
you know Dale and his friends.
Yeah. I was like, this Dale's got a buddy with him. I don't know the buddy, right? I just want, and I also like just want you to come because maybe I might invite him over to spend the night, and I just want to get your okay on it.
Depends on how the night's going.
Depends on how the night's going, right? So, and I said, Charlotte, also if you're there with me, you can pull me away, so I don't have to be out all night, and get in trouble or anything like that. So, anyways, we go down, we meet him in Bellevue, we meet him at Applebee's, right? And I pull up, and I have, like, my Corvette, right? So I pull up on the side, I'm kind of like, I just want to kind of get in, like, kind of incognito. I pull up, and I park on the side, like, kind of away from the restaurant, and I walk in, because I don't want, like, them to bring it up or make it a deal, or, I want to be like, and part of the reason I took the vet, too, was, like, I was like, if these guys want to come back to my place, they can Uber back. They don't have to drive with them, right. I'm kind of thinking ahead, right?
So everyone knows you're always like, you're like 2 or 3 steps ahead. Like unlike me, like I'm on a whim. You actually like formulate a plan in your head of like all the possibilities of things that could happen and go wrong.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And that's why this whole situation like took me by surprise so much, right? So when we get into Applebee's, we walk into Applebee's, and right away, man, I look across the bar, and there's probably about 30 people in Applebee's, and you can pick out Dale right away. You walk in there, you can pick out Dale and his friend right away. And it's like these 2 drunk-ass motherfuckers that are sitting in the bar, right? And Dale gets up, and I'm like, I said, Charlotte, I was like, you know what, 20 minutes. 20 minutes. That's it, 20 minutes. Yeah. We're going to have a drink.
And bounce out.
Right. But so I walk up, right, and I see Dale and Dale's friend there, and they're actually like nice guys, right? They're nice. Dale's drunk though, and they're both drunk. Actually, they're both really drunk,
like hammered.
And so Dale gets up, and he's like, "Hey, homie, what's up?" And he comes and gives me a big hug, and I'm like, I get all red. I'm like, "Oh, Dale, good to see you, man." And I meet his friend, and he's like, "Hey, this is my friend, Chris or something like that, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, cool." He's like, "Hey, just to let you know, this guy's like the most dangerous guy you'd ever meet. The most dangerous dude." And so I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Well, definitely not staying the night at my house.
Yeah, knowing Dale.
You don't lead with that. You don't lead with that. You lead with, hey, can I stay at your house? I got the most awesome, nicest friend around, you know. You don't go, hey, can I stay at your house? And you never met my friend before. By the way, he's the most dangerous dude in the world. Like, oh, yeah, come stay now, me and my fiance. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I'm like, right away, the alarm bells are going off, right? I'm sitting there, oh, okay, Chris dude doesn't seem like he's the most dangerous dude, but because I know Dale, right. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna, you know. And then Dale starts talking about fighting, right? He's like, hey, Joe, you do jiu-jitsu still, right? I'm like, yeah, you know, I haven't done it for a while because of COVID, you know. He's like, well, you know, just to let you know, like, Chris, this guy Joe, he could tie you in a knot, like he could beat you up, but it means you're still the most dangerous guy I know. And I'm like,
oh, so he's trying to, like, get you guys to wrestle. So, well, you're at Applebee's, though. Go ahead.
Applebee's. I'm like, Dale, like, no one wants to fight. No one wants to. I just want to sit here and have a drink and talk and, like, hang out, reminisce maybe, but I don't want to get in a fight. I don't want to touch anybody. I don't. And they're also, the other thing Dale gets when he gets drunk is he gets touchy, right? So he's, like, putting, you know, he grabs you, he hugs you, he puts his arm around you. Awesome. Yeah. It's like, dude, it's COVID, bro. It's like, that's not what should be happening right now.
Yeah.
So anyways, we sit down. I say, hey, man, let me get a round of drinks for everybody. Get some beers. I get some, you know. And his friend Chris right away wants to start taking shots, right? He's like, oh, good. Joe's going to pay for drinks. Oh, let's take some shots. And I'm like, no. We're going to do beer, okay? Yeah. You get a beer. Right. You get a beer. I get a beer. And Shara gets whatever she wants, right? Right. So I ordered drinks. And Dale all of a sudden said, hey, Joe, I got to tell you something. You know, I got to tell you a story, but it's really emotional. I got to tell you outside, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. So right away, while our drinks are coming, like our drinks haven't even come yet.
You go outside.
So he takes me outside, and he takes me around the corner, and he starts pulling his pants down. And I'm like, dude, I was like, that is,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? Like, I mean, like, I could just see like someone from work like rolling by, and I'm walking out with this guy.
That guy was Halloween with his pants down. What are you doing? What are you doing there, Joe? I seen you outside Applebee's with some dude with his pants down.
So he starts pulling his pants down, and he's like, hey, so dude, I got shot. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I got shot. Like, someone just like ran outside. So he said someone just ran outside in a Subway and shot me. And so he pulls down his pants, right? Mm-hmm. And he's got like a bullet like grazed him on his leg, on his left leg. And then he or his right, like his left leg. And then he pulls his, you know, he's got his pants down. He's trying to pull down his drawers. I'm just like, come on, just a little bit, you know, not too much. And he pulls down his butt, right? You know, he has this big bandage on his butt. And I'm like, oh, man. Like, you know, kind of butt bandage you get like at CVS or something like that, right?
Yeah, one of those big patch ones.
Yeah, and he's like, dude, yeah, I got shot in the butt too. And he's like, oh. He's like, I said, well, what happened, Dale? And he's like, well, I just got a Subway sandwich, and I got in my car, and then I was just hanging out in my car starting to eat my Subway sandwich, and this gato, he like runs up, and he starts like, he says, hey, you, and he goes, pop, pop, pop. He said, I could hear. I knew what kind of gun it was. Like,
yeah.
I don't know much about guns.
Right.
I don't even remember what he told me, what kind of gun. It was like a 45 or something like that.
Right.
So he said, yeah. This guy started shooting, and after I heard the first couple shots, it was like I was in Iraq again. And he said, I just started taking off and got out of there. And I said, shit. I said, do you know why the guys attacked you? And he's like, no. He's like, it happened in Walnut Creek. And I was like, dude, this is like, I did not believe him at first. But what happened was this guy, he's like, all of a sudden he's like, yeah, man, let me show you some of this video. And he has a video going up to the car, and he's got 8 bullet holes in the car, in like his little sedan. And then he's got like blood stains where it like went into his butt.
But knowing Dale, he might have pissed somebody off.
I know, but yeah, I mean, I asked him so many times, dude. I was like, so exactly like, who is this guy? Do you know this guy? Did you talk to this guy? No, man, I don't even know who he was. So just a random dude ran out of Subway and was like, hey, you with the foot long, pop, 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 pop. And I was like, dude, where are you hanging out, man? So, I don't know. I had so many questions.